Okay. Another Tuesday Metal Monday with Brett. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, bud. Just like we were talking about earlier, it's a Monday on a Tuesday, just trying to make it happen. Just trying to cram 2 days into one day and get this party
Yeah.
started.
These short weeks can always be tough. I mean, I think it's always good to enjoy that time. Memorial Day weekend's always important to remember why we're celebrating. I think, if a lot of people forget that, it's not lost in my household, and I know it's not lost in yours. So I want to give a quick thank you to all the people that gave up the ultimate sacrifice and all the Gold Star families out there. So
Absolutely, man. I think that's the biggest. I think kids, they don't really understand they don't understand the importance of the day because they're young. They don't really live, much of a life, and so you got to put it in front of them. You got to get in front of them, try and get them to understand. I mean, it's not like I'm in the military or their mom's in the military, so they're not around it or face that battle every day, right? But it's still important to get them to understand, why we live in the country we live in and why we think it's so great. My kids are always like, Dad, why do you make us stop what we're doing every time we're watching like a big sporting event, whether it's um, college football game or a big basketball game or whatever. Like anytime that we put the national anthem on, right? Like I just say, shut up, watch the TV. I don't want to hear anybody talking, right? And I'm really adamant of it. I'm really adamant about that. And and then like yesterday, it gave you a good opportunity for him to explain to him why we're so adamant about it, right? Like that's why we get to have the stuff we have, the freedom that we get to have. And so, yeah, it's a big day. It's a big day for us. I mean, we're pretty proud Americans. Our trucks got flags on them. We got flags all over our facilities. Our hats
mhm.
got flags on them. Like we roll
Yep.
pretty hard that way. So it's always a good weekend.
Yep, it is. So where are the markets at today? Let's dive right in. Where are the metal markets at
They
today?
started off really strong. I mean, initially the futures were pointing pretty positive. I think now, we're about almost 11:30 our time. Like copper's off a couple cents,
Hmm.
which it started out up a couple cents. So, I think people are trying to digest this debt deal. Does the debt deal get done? China, there's some more numbers come out of China, I think tomorrow and Thursday. So what is their economy looking like? It's going to be a big driver for the copper market. And I think it's going to be a kind of a mixed bag for a little bit while everything shakes itself out.
Yeah, absolutely. There was one thing I was kind of wondering if we could get into moving forward, other markets besides just metal markets. We don't talk about rubber, we don't talk about papers. Like where where have you ever where can we find those markets online? Do you have a good spot for that?
Yeah, I mean, there's some good. It's not as broadcast as much from a
Yeah.
commodity standpoint, but I think like the Davis Index puts something out.
Okay.
I think there's an AMM. I think there's a few of these pricing websites that put that information out. I don't do enough of that material or handle enough of that
Yeah.
material to pay close attention. So I'm kind of relying on some of the guys I'm selling a couple loads of cardboard here and there too. So but the information's out there. I could do a little more research and we could probably put some links on and say, okay, these
Mhm.
are some good markets to pay attention to, or good ways to pay attention to those markets. The rubber market is its own beast in and of itself. I mean, when we talk tires, we talk tire wire. We talk about different mesh sizes of chrome. What's the TDF market look like? We internally, and we're still, I would say, like we're not experts in those markets either, by any stretch. We're still learning those as we go and kind of what makes a good home for XYZ. So as we learn more and we develop that business line more, we will probably let Craig with
Yeah.
his new podcast, um, Talking Tires, let them kind of delve into those markets where it's a little more specialized.
Yeah, sounds good. Any new news on Ferris? Then going back to metals?
I haven't heard anything, big lately. Last week everybody was, nervous this market was going to drop the bottom out of it again. And I think some shredders had started lowering some prices or were considering lowering their prices. Maybe as we get closer to June with flows, I'm still hearing flow issues. So I'm interested to talk to my buddy Chad Ellerbrock, and we're going to do our Bulls versus Bears podcast this later this week and kind of dive into what June market looks like. I'm guessing maybe the sentiment isn't as rough as it was 2 weeks ago, but then again, like this thing turns on a dime in a hurry, and these Ferris markets especially been pretty volatile as well. So while I still anticipate it being down and softening up, I don't know to what extent, but I'll probably have a better answer for that towards the end of this week.
Okay, well, great. Next Metal Monday, we'll have a little clarity on that. Everyone look out for the Bulls versus Bears with Chad. He's got a lot of great insight on that as well. So I
One
certainly
thing though, to add to that real quick, is we're moving scrap. Like anytime we get in a market like this, our goal is to move scrap. So if we've got it available, we're trying to get it moved. So if that gives you any indication which way we think it's going, like we're trying to make shit go away. So
keep it moving, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, we'll know more next week on Ferris. Hopefully, copper doesn't get back in the 350, 360 range. It'd be nice if we get closer to 370, 380 this week. We'll see with some of that stuff going on in Congress.
Another bet lost, another $100 given up by you unless something really wild turns the card. So
We got one day
either way.
left. We got one day. So,
It is what it is,
all right, everyone have a great short week, and we'll see everybody next week.
All right, man. Take care. Have a great day.
Thanks.